Hello again, and welcome to another program of the week from Camp Insights. We're working our way through the C++ language a little bit. We've done um, loops and we've done functions, and now we're going to do a program that teaches the basics of arrays. Um, so this program, the idea behind it comes from your uh, textbook. It's a program to uh, take in the rainfall for each month of the year, and then calculate the total, the max and min, and then we're going to calculate the median rainfall, which is the middle amount if you sort everything. Okay. Um, so I'm going to start by adding my using namespace standard and getting rid of the boilerplate hello world code. Okay. So if we're going to do this, what we need to do is have an array of 12 elements because there are 12 months in the year. So rainfall is going to be given in inches, and it's going to be given in decimal inches, like 2.74 or something like that. So we need an array of doubles. So it's going to be double rainfall of 12. Okay. Um, and because 12 is sort of a magic number there, I'm explaining where the 12 comes from. Array to hold 12 months of rainfall data. Okay. One interesting little piece of commentary that I've gotten from my software engineering course that I'm taking right now um, is that comments should not be used to explain what you're doing. They should be used to explain why you're doing it. If you use sensible variable names and all of that, um, then your code should explain to the user what you're doing, but it may not explain why you chose those design decisions. So it's obvious that we're collecting 12 units of rainfall, but I'm putting a comment in there for why we chose 12 because it's the number of months. Okay. I could come up here and say const int months in year equals 12. Okay. And then I copy this and put that here. And now I don't really need the explanation. Now I just say 1 year of rainfall data uh, by month. Okay. Still good to have the comment there just to explain what we're thinking, but that makes the code more self-documenting, as we call it. And the more that your code explains itself to anybody who reads it, the better off you're going to be if you come back to this code later in your life. The better off somebody else is going to be if they have to pick up where you started, where you stopped, pick up where you stopped, and extend your code, which happens a lot in the real world. Okay. Um, so now we need a loop to read in the months of the rainfall totals. Um, I actually am going to create another array with the names of the uh, months so that we can print those nicely for the person who's entering the data so that they know what month we're on. They don't have to keep track of how many months they've done so far. So that's going to be a string type variable. Um, string month names. Now here, I could put a 12 in the parentheses, but that's going to be redundant because I'm going to be putting in here Jan, Feb, Mar, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay. I have an extra close curly there for some reason. Okay. So now I'm ready to do an input loop. Now, so far in this programming class, most of our input loops have been while loops, but we know in this case that there are going to be exactly 12 months. So there's no reason we couldn't use a for loop for this. Okay, so I say for int m for month, or mo for month, equals 0. And, you know, probably I'm going to call it mi for month index. Okay, because we're not actually counting which number of month we are, it's which index in the array we are. In which case, you know, we might as well just lose the m and go with the standard I that everybody uses for index. Okay, I is going to be less than 12, and we're going to increment I by 1, I plus plus. Remember, I is, you know, the format of a for loop is you have the beginning, then you have the while condition. Essentially you have the beginning and then the end, and then you have the step. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is say, cout month names at I. Rainfall amount. Okay. Then I'm going to cin, and here's the cool trick. You can read directly into the array if you use an index with the array. So I can read into rainfall at I. Okay. And that gets me through all of my months. Okay. Now, this another philosophy I've gotten from my software engineering class that I'm taking right now is to not write all of your code at once, but to do a little bit of coding and a little bit of testing, a little bit of coding and a little bit of testing. So okay, so I'm just going to read in and make sure my reading in code works, and then I'm going to print out my rainfall here. Okay. So that's my code test for the first part of my program. So bring up my console here. January rainfall amount. I actually looked up the amounts for Houston, so let's go ahead and use those. 3.68 Feb, 2.98 Mar, 3.36 April, 3.60 May, 5.15 June, a whopping 5.35 July, back down to the threes. August, 3.83. September, 4.33. October, 4.5. November, 4.19. And December, 3.69. And there, it prints out all of my answers. They look like the right numbers in the right order. Okay? So we can now shrink my console back down and come here and do the next part. Now this was only for testing purposes, so I'm going to delete it. What did we want to do now? We need, I'm going to put a comment in here that we need total, max, min, and median. Okay. Now to get the total, we need to traverse what we call traversing the array. So double total equals 0.0. We're going to start with an empty accumulator variable. Then for, now I could do a standard int I equals 0, I less than 12, I plus plus, if I need to know which month I'm on. But in this case, I can just say amount, double amount colon rainfall, and I know I will, that's called the range-based for loop. That will run through the entire rainfall array, and all I need to do at each time is say total plus equals amount. Okay? So total's easy. We could, at each point, also check to see whether the amount is less than our minimum or greater than our maximum. Okay? And that would be the standard way of getting max and min. However, to get median, we have to sort the list. And once you've sorted the list, it's very easy to get the minimum and the maximum. So I'm going to not waste computational cycles trying to figure out the max and min here. What I'm going to do is come up here and pound include the algorithm header, which gives us the sort function. Okay. So I sort rainfall, comma, rainfall plus 12. Okay. Oh, there's my magic number again, so let me put in months and year. Okay. It's a funny way that the C++ sort algorithm works, is that you have to tell it not just the start of the array, but the end of the array, or the end point that you want sorted. I actually could have it sort only the first half of the array if I wanted to, by saying rainfall plus 6, okay, and then it would just sort the first half of the array. But we don't want to do that. We want to sort the entire array. Okay. Now I could say double min equals rainfall at 0. Okay. But again, let's do a little bit of code, a little bit of test here. and make sure the sorting algorithm works right. Okay. So this time I'm going to enter some random numbers here just to see if 2.5, 3.6, 3.2, 4.3. Remember May was 5 point something, June was 5 point something, then we went back to the threes. Okay, got two 3.6s in there. We'll see how that works out. September was a 4 point something. October was another 4 point something. And then December we were back down to the threes. Oh, I missed a month somewhere. Okay. Now we check our sort 2.5, 3.2, 3.3, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 4.2, 4.3. Yeah, so all those are in order, right? So the sorting mechanism worked just the way we expected it to. It's always good to stop and check. Okay. So now that I have the list sorted, double min equals rainfall at 0. Double max equals rainfall at months and year minus 1. Okay, remember the array goes up to one index before the size of the array. Okay. And then median is going to be rainfall at let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus rainfall at 6. Okay, there's no exact middle point because the array is an even number of digits, so divided by 2.0. Okay. So I went for the two middlemost numbers, and I'm taking the average of those two. Okay. So now it's just a matter of printing out our results. See out min inline. See out max, or let's do median first. Median goes between min and max, right? See out max, and see out total inline. Okay. Are we ready? I think we are. I think we've done everything we need to for this program. So again, this time I'm going to use the actual rainfall amounts for Houston for average rainfall according to one climate website. So 3.68 for January, 2.98 for February, 3.36, 3.60, 5.15, whopping 5 inches for May and June. July back down to the 3s. A little bit more in August. A little bit more in September. A little bit more in October. And then back down to the 3s for December. And then there we go. The min is 2.98 from February. The median is 3.76. The maximum is 5.35 from June. And the total amount of rain that Houston gets in an average year is 47.84 inches, almost 50 inches of rain, which makes us sort of a subtropical climate here in Houston. Okay. So what have we learned today? We've learned how to declare an empty array here using a constant to specify the size of the array. We've learned to declare an array that's going to be automatically filled with an initializer list, we call it. Okay. We've learned to traverse an array using the traditional for loop, I equals 0, I less than 12. And now here I should have, there's my magic number again, so I should have done months and year. As long as we're using that constant for the size of our array, we might as well use it everywhere, right? Makes our code more readable, more self-documenting. We've learned how to calculate a total by running through the array once and adding up the amounts. We've learned how to sort an array, and we've learned how to get the min, max, and median from a sorted, pre-sorted array. So hopefully that's a good number of array tricks for you to get started with, and we'll have more in the coming months, I'm sure. Okay. Next time we'll wrap up the beginner programming section of this class and start moving on to things like pointers and dynamic memory and structures and all sorts of things. So there's lots more C++ to learn. But until then, practice with your arrays. Good luck and happy programming.